Hey, what's shaking, everyone? So I wanted to start off today's episode with a bit of a thought exercise for you. So imagine you're back in school, a bunch of your friends are around, and you guys just really hate your principal. And all of you get together and you think, boy, we really just need to get rid of this guy. And so how are we going to do it? Well, I heard him say something over here, or, his policy over here on this is really bad and really affecting us in our after school programs. I heard he's actually going to cut one of our after school programs. Can you believe it? I can't believe it either. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to compile all of these thoughts together. And what we're going to do is we're going to get the school paper. Yeah, we're going to get the school paper to publish all of this together. And we all heard the same stuff, right? Oh, yeah. That's exactly what all of these fucking dolts out there are doing right now with the mainstream media. Michael Cohen, his niece, Mary Trump, Michael Bolton. I already said Michael Cohen's, but that's just 3 major books in the past month. And now you got Bob Woodward's. God, it's almost been debunked in record time. His newest smear job about how President Trump wasn't taking proper precautions with coronavirus, saying that it's nothing really to worry about. But let's just dig into this article here to bring everyone up to speed. So, President Trump on Wednesday ripped into Bob Woodward's new book as just another political hit job after the author claimed Trump said he knew the coronavirus was deadly, but went to great lengths to downplay the virus in public. Yeah, really. Pressed on this reported coronavirus comments during an afternoon event in the diplomatic room of the White House, the president defended himself. You cannot show a sense of panic. Absolutely. He's the one in charge. Okay? If an emergency breaks out at work, let's just say, and your boss starts running around with his arms flapping in the air, how are the rest of the employees going to react? No, you address it with calm and have a plan in place. Trump was the one who brought out the original 15 days to slow the spread, and every other governor along the way picked it up. Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan, and then Ron DeSantis in Florida. It was completely across the map. Everybody did 15 days. And after that, whenever and however everybody opened up was decided upon by the governors. So it takes strong leadership to stay cool under pressure, not lose their mind because the information at the time was coronavirus is going to kill the entire world. But I digress. Therefore, now I shall continue. Follows an earlier defense of Trump from White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, who said Wednesday, when you're facing insurmountable challenges, it is important to express confidence. It is important to express calm. He makes clear he doesn't want to see chaos, by the way, which is the second part of the quote that you failed to read. Immediately. Just more quote mining, just little things that the press can pick up on to make it seem like, oh, Trump's a dolt and everything. How can a guy who does so much correctly continue to be passively slandered by these just outright hacks? They're just in it for the money, in it for the ratings. It's the Trump bump effect. Imagine, I'll diverge here for a second. Imagine if Biden actually had a shot in hell of winning in November. What would they write about? Like, they can't fawn over Biden like they did Obama because, well, at the end of the day, Joe Biden's a crusty old white guy, and they can't pull out the, oh, he's so articulate, because anytime Biden gives a speech, it just eventually turns into a duh situation. What are they going to do without Trump? Harass him in real life? Well, he's going to get far more litigious if that were the fact. But let's continue. The president, just days after having this discussion with Bob Woodward, said this forum said this from the podium on March 30th. He said, I do want them to stay calm. We're doing a great job. If you look at the individual statements, they are all true. Stay calm. It will go away, but it's important to stay calm, the press secretary said. So this president does what leaders do. Good leaders. It's stay calm and resolute at a time when you face an insurmountable challenge. I'm glad I'm on the same wavelength as the press secretary. Let's just say this bitch is super sharp. According to Woodward, as recounted in the Washington Post, yuck. The president received a warning from National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien on January 28th that the coronavirus epidemic would be the biggest national security threat of his presidency. I've gone on too many tangents so far. The president reportedly told Woodward in a February 7th call, you just breathe the air and that's how it's passed. And so it's a very tricky one. It's a very delicate one. It's also more deadly than even your strenuous flu, the Post reported. This is deadly stuff, the president added. That was the information at the time. How many times do I got to beat this into the ground? It was going to kill, 5 to 7% of people, maybe upwards of 10% of people. How is it transmitted? Oh, I don't know. It'll live on surfaces for 3, 4, 5 days. You can get it from the doorknob. You can get it from the gas pump. It's everywhere. It's in the air. Yeah. So that was the information at the time. That was around, early February 7th right there. Early February. That's what we knew. Yeah. And then, of course, this other dumb clip. But on February 26th, Trump told Americans that coronavirus is like a flu. It's a flu. It's in the same category as the swine flu, as the bird flu, and SARS, which is a flu. Fuck's sakes. This is a flu. This is like a flu. Yes, obviously. How it's transmitted, how it carries out in your body is just like the regular flu. It's a little like a regular flu that we have flu shots for. And we'll essentially have a flu shot for this in a fairly quick manner. Well, if we were to go on hearsay and some studies that are currently out right now, I don't think that's wrong either. But that's some more speculation for a different video. The quotes came from recordings from Woodward, conversations with Trump available on the Post's website. The Washington Post. Where democracy dies in the dark. And they haven't paid their power bill in years. On why Trump sat down with Woodward, McEnany said Wednesday it was because he has been the most transparent president in history. Even just compare and contrast with his predecessor. How many times was Barack Obama on Fox News? Or how many times did he give any sort of interview to a opposing opinion? Boy, it really gets the old noggin jogging, eh? Trump on March 19th told Woodward, I wanted to always play it down. Like he said before, you don't run around with your hair on fire. But that's the gist of this article. And then it goes on to say nearly 190,000 people have died from COVID. 6% have died from COVID. But the gist of this article and what the Washington Post is currently trying to push is, Trump wanted to downplay it. He didn't understand everything. And the book's not even coming out until next week, and it's already been debunked. Fuchi responds to Woodward reporting on Trump. I don't recall that at all. Wow. These books are getting lazier and lazier. Well, here's the disputed claim. Woodward Burke, straight out of the Washington Post. Woodward book. Trump says he knew coronavirus was deadly and worse than the flu. The only thing that's actually quoted is the word deadly, and I'm sure if he had a conversation with a journalist, he'll probably bring up the term deadly in regards to the flu, and especially what we knew at the time. Duh. Dr. Anthony Fauci on Wednesday shot down journalist Bob Woodward's reporting he once said President Trump was unfocused in meetings and that his sole purpose was to get reelected, saying he doesn't, Fauci this is, doesn't recall that at all. So just another book out there. It's impossible to quantify. Fauci, the administration's top infectious disease expert, was quoted in Woodward's new book, Rage, as disparaging the president's rudderless leadership and saying his attention span is like a minus number. All right, pizza pasta. If you notice, it was others who have said that. You should ask others. I don't recall that at all. Fauci told Fox News correspondent John Roberts. Cool. I didn't read the book, but according to what I saw in the newspapers, it says others have said that. Yeah, the ubiquitous, ethereal others, or sources claim. Nobody has multiple sources on these things. They just ask their friends, do you think Trump would say that? I think he would. Let's go with that. Fucking dolts. But it's already been debunked. Like, what the fuck else? What are they selling this on? Already been debunked. It's all a lie. And that seems to be a running theme with all of these slanderous books that come out about Trump. Now, I don't want anybody to get this twisted, okay? If you're watching this video, you've seen the title, and if you see through a bunch of my other videos on this channel, they're generally pro-Republican. They're generally pro-Trump. But if President Trump would do something, something that I would vehemently disagree with as somebody who is center-right, libertarian-leaning, then I'd criticize him on it. I don't give a shit. Prior to running for president, I was embarrassed that the only other really famous person who would share my first name was Donald Trump. He was a blowhard reality TV show host. But then once he got elected, started to realize that, oh, you know what, this guy's actually done a lot of good. And perhaps the Apprentice spotlight wasn't necessarily the best thing for him. But regardless, here we are, a man who follows through on his promises. And yeah, I'm hesitant to say I'm a full-throated fan like, the cheerleaders on Fox Primetime, but yeah, I'm down to give him the benefit of the doubt. Unlike so many other people. And I thought maybe I was being a little hyperbolic in thinking that there were so many books out there slandering Trump until I was doing a little research for this video. And it's like, okay, this Woodward thing came out and oh, okay, this is what it's all about. This guy's just trying to push a new book. Oh, okay. And I remember Cohen came out and said that the president's racist. It's like, what's the point of making a video, or what's the point of doing a response on somebody who's a habitual liar, who is, been convicted of perjury, and yeah, doesn't have a leg to stand on. Every time he opens his mouth, he ends up contradicting himself. And then after that, you start running down the list, and it's like, boy, there is a list about as long as my arm of people who have come out with books that are supposed to be these hot takes on the presidency, and then later turn out to be lies at best and pure works of fiction at worst. And then I came across this Time article. You're not imagining it. Trump books are coming out at a rapid clip. Normally I wouldn't trust Time. They kind of stopped being relevant at, the advent of the internet, but I did a little reading in this article, and it's not too bad, actually. If you feel like you can't keep up with all the bombshell books about President Donald Trump and his administration, you're not alone. In terms of raw numbers, there's been an average of roughly one book about Trump and his inner circle released every single day for the last 188 weeks. I didn't even think the numbers were that high. That is astonishing. Considering the guy's only been in office for 4 years. Jesus, that's a lightning pace. Last week, we had a tell-all from former friend and aide to the First Lady Melania Trump, Stephanie Winston Wolkoff. I didn't even hear about this one. I'm sure it was glowing. Today, we have Today we have former Trump fixer Michael Cohen's searing account of the dastardly deeds he undertook on behalf of his former pal. Ugh. And next week, oh boy, we'll have the second Trump-era tome of Master Washington insider Bob Woodward, the already debunked Bob Woodward. All three are on Amazon's bestseller list. Of course they are. Among the site's top 25 books of all varieties, 7 are Trump-related. The sheer volume of books about the incumbent administration is at a pace twice as fast as we saw at this point during Barack Obama's first term. And that's what was very, very striking about that. I was racking my brain today trying to think of legitimate or even well-publicized Barack Obama smear books or smear media in general. Especially in his first term, I can't think of anything. Literally, if you were to turn on CNN or, well, let's extrapolate that out. It doesn't even have to be CNN. It was any mainstream media during that time. Well, within the first 30 days, I can immediately think of Barack Obama, we're going to close down Gitmo. And then that was kind of turned into a revisionist history of we're going to think about closing down Gitmo. And it's still open to this day. This might be jumping ahead in the timeline a little bit, but by the end of his presidency, he has deported the most people. Well, in an 8-year span, he's deported the most illegal immigrants in, modern times. And, he got the nickname Obama for a reason. Tens of thousands of Syrians and Libyans drone striked. It's like he's playing Arab minesweeper out there. It was fucking impressive. But at the end of the day, do these books really even matter? They're just more or less, flash in the pan, bottom third chyrons for CNN and MSNBC to run. They never really stick. None of them have substantial claims. And this Bob Woodward thing is just another situation of that. So when Trump actually does something terrible, I'll be there with the pitchforks too. But until then, keep your slanders and lies in your own mouth, you fucking bunch of worthless. Anyways, guys, if you've enjoyed this video or if you appreciate my commentary, feel free to subscribe or drop a like down there. I'd really appreciate it. Or, hey, I'm active with anybody who decides to drop a comment. So if you have any questions or you want to follow up on anything that I've described in this video or anything in general, feel free to hit me there. Or I'm also on Parler and Twitter as well. But enough shameless self-promotion. I've been Khan-Swaylo, and I want you guys to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.